Hey guys, Joe here. I've got my hands on the new Z-Blaze Pledge Watch, which means it's time for a review. First, let's start with the design. The watch comes with a round face measuring 1.33 inches in size with 360 x 360 resolution, which is quite good. The watch is made mostly out of plastic, but there are a few bits of metal here and there, like on the power button and the backplate. The watch does have a few markings around the display, which gives it a sporty look. On the right, you'll find the camera, and besides it lies the microphone opening. You'll find the speaker grill on the other side. I must add that the speaker is quite loud, but more on that later. Coming to the back, you have the heart rate sensor as well as the charging port. You also have 4 screws keeping the back plate in its place. Well, in my case that's 3 since I already lost one. And if you are anything like me and there's a good chance that you might lose one, then don't worry. You get 4 additional screws in the box itself. Finally, for the strap, it's made out of silicone and the quality is quite decent. The display is one of the best features of the Blitz. It comes with a 1.3 inch screen with 360 x 360 resolution, which means it covers the entire display without any black bars at the bottom. Corning Gorilla Glass 3 is definitely an added plus, as there were a couple of occasions where the screen could have been easily scratched, but it didn't thanks to this protective glass on top. Outside visibility of the screen is also pretty decent, and on most days you can live with the brightness set at a medium level. But when things get too bright outside, bumping up the level to maximum usually suffices. Now, let us take a look at the interface. Once you click the power button, you will see the watch face up front. Swiping to the top takes you to the status bar. Here, you'll find a lot of data about the watch, such as the battery level, SIM card status, as well as whether you are connected to a smartphone via Bluetooth. Swiping further to the right takes you to the quick settings panel. This contains all the necessary connectivity options such as Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS, and even a brightness toggle. Further swiping to the right brings you to the pedometer status. This shows you the number of steps taken in a day as well as the distance traveled in kilometers. I'd like to add that the pedometer in this watch isn't accurate, but more on that later. There are 2 more elements to the interface. Swiping down brings you to the weather status, while swiping to the left brings you to the notifications panel. Remember that this is meant to be an independent watch rather than a companion smartwatch. So once you install a SIM card inside, it works just like a regular smartphone. You can make and receive calls, text messages, and so on. It is running a full version of Android Lollipop, so you will be familiar with the basic interface and features. Now go back to the watch face and swipe to the right to find the app drawer. You can install many apps on the watch, just like a regular Android smartphone. Some pre-installed ones include the Dialer, Messages app, Contacts, WhatsApp, Browser, and so on. Note that you have a couple of theme options to organize the app drawer, and as some of you may have already noticed, I'm not using the default one here. I also managed to install a few apps on the device, like Google Chrome and Antutu without any issues. Making and receiving calls on the Pledge was a surprisingly easy process. The microphone is clear and the person on the other end could hear me out well. The same goes on this side. I could hear the other person speaking loud and clear. So, this means that the watch can actually function as a phone. But here's the catch. While on calls, the battery drains quickly, and you might want to limit the number of calls as well as the call duration to get this watch running for an entire day. As for the watch's fitness tracking features, I must say I was disappointed. First of all, the heart rate sensor is a big pain. You can't get it to work on most occasions. Considering how Z-Blaze marketed that they use an advanced Samsung sensor inside, I expected much better performance. So, if you're looking for a watch for measuring your heart rate accurately, then this might not be the one for you. As for the pedometer, it is just too sensitive. It's not too bad, but I would have liked much more accuracy in counting my steps and distance traveled. On most cases, the step count was quite high, even when I spent a majority of my time on my desk. So, if you're someone obsessed with fitness, the Blitz might not be the right watch for you. Also, note that the watch is waterproof and dustproof. And I have personally tested it lightly, and so far, no issues. I once wore it in rain and I even wear it while riding my bike. And so far, everything seems to be working very well. Charging the watch is a pretty straightforward process. You get a charging dock in the box itself, which fits well on the back of the device. One thing to note while inserting the dock is the way you put it in. From my experience, always start with the side that goes near the speaker grill and then slowly slide in the one that goes near the camera. This will make sure that you don't break the dock in the process. I personally feel a dock like that on the number 1 D5 Plus would have been better, but then this isn't too bad either. Once you attach the dock, just plug in a regular Android charger and you're good to go. To be honest, I was a bit disappointed with the Blitz battery at first, despite it featuring a large 480 mAh battery inside. The watch hardly lasted an entire day with moderate usage, which was simply unacceptable. However, after the recent update, I see that the battery life has increased, and now the watch easily lasts for an entire day and sometimes even for a couple of days. Playing music, browsing the web, or even updating a few apps now don't use up as much charge as it did before. But still, you would get only about a day with such kind of usage. That's pretty decent, I guess, as most smartwatches available today require charging almost every day. To conclude, I would say Blitz is a great smartwatch for first-time users. There are a few areas where I would have hoped it to be better, like fitness tracking and maybe even battery. But those things aside, everything else works as described by the company. So, that was it, folks. Thanks for watching this review. If you have any questions, shoot them down below.